What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here, Fightful.com podcast. It is August 22nd. It's Mayweather-McGregor week, also known as SummerSlam week, also known as Jon Jones fails a drug test week. I'll talk about that momentarily. Before we get into Smackdown, I am joined by Jeff Hawkins. You just heard his giggle.
Sean, it's not often that we can have a guest host or a guest co-host take over for me and do a great job. So right now I'd like to introduce to you our special guest star for the week, a rising star in the WWE. Beachballs.
I hate you. I hate you.
This is the worst.
Hi, Anna. How's it going?
I thought that my week had reached like peak garbage.
Oh, no. I'll make it worse. That's what I'm here for.
Beach ball. The biggest, well, I don't know. I guess you could say the most polarizing figure in WWE today.
He's more over than the whole 205 Live roster.
That doesn't take much.
I hate the world.
That's Anna Bauert.
Hi.
You see her there. You can see her on Most Ridiculous, which is now independent. Anna, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. That freaking beach ball, though. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get right into it, guys. Jon Jones failed a drug test after the UFC 214 weigh-ins. It is for Trinabol, which is an oral anabolic steroid. TMZ reported the news, and neither UFC or USADA initially announced what the substance was, but that seems to be it. Jones just got back from a year suspension. He's looking at anywhere between 2 to 4 for this one. That could effectively end his career. It could delay his career. It could push him into another career. There's just so much. I'll just read straight from the report. It says, despite the report from Fox Sports saying that Cormier is getting the title back, ESPN's Brett Okamoto says that Jones has yet to be formally stripped of the title. The win for Jones has been overturned or will be overturned for a no contest or to a no contest. The same goes for Cormier's loss. USADA has also provisionally suspended Jones, and the fighter could be facing a 2+ year suspension as he's a multiple-time offender. The bout at UFC 214 was Jones' first encounter since UFC 187 and the first since he was suspended for a drug test failure just before UFC 200. Jones had been calling out former UFC heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar for a super fight, but obviously that fight and many others for Jones won't be happening anytime soon. A statement has been issued by the UFC. They said, the UFC organization was notified today that the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency has informed Jon Jones of a potential anti-doping policy violation stemming from an in-competition sample following his weigh-in on July 28th. USADA, the independent administrator of the UFC anti-doping policy, will handle the results management and appropriate education of this case involving Jones as it relates to the doping policy. There is a legal process that has to play out here. Malky Kawa, Jon Jones's manager, issued a statement saying, we are all at a complete loss for words right now. Jon, his trainers, his nutritionists, and his entire camp have worked tirelessly and meticulously for the past 12 months to avoid this exact situation. We are having samples tested again to determine the validity or source of the contamination. Jon is crushed by the news, and we are doing whatever we can as a team to support him. I'll hop right into the WWE implications. This had nothing to do with SummerSlam and the decision to keep the belt on Brock Lesnar. WWE didn't know. They had no idea. UFC didn't know until today. Today is when everybody found out. The limited amount that I know right now is this. I believe this is an oral steroid. With oral steroids especially, there is a risk of contamination, and I would imagine that that is going to be the angle that is played here. I would imagine that we will see an argument much like that of last year. Jon Jones has made his affinity for dick pills, as he calls them, pretty well known. So obviously we're going to have more on that as the week unfolds. But if you want to listen to non-Jon Jones related MMA news, head over to the Holy Smokes MMA podcast. I did a full breakdown of the Mayweather-McGregor fight. Talked Bellator, Chris Weidman, Nate Diaz, Cyborg. Lots of stuff today at 3 p.m. Eastern. Also had that preview up separately. Hot diggity damn. It's time to talk SmackDown. If you all have any questions regarding Jones, hit me up with those. I will answer them at the end of the show. Whew. Anna, did this feel like a post-SummerSlam SmackDown to you?
Yeah. It wasn't... Even yesterday's Raw kind of flew by for me, which for the past few weeks to months, it felt like it's been a 5-hour show. I think the two debuts made it especially special, and I freaking love the end of the show. So I think maybe that's coloring my perception of it right now. But
well, we have one of the stars of the program, Beachball. Beachball. Let me know your feelings on the appearance that you made this evening.
I hate you so much.
Well, despite Ms.
Actually,
Bauer's...
fuck off for a little bit. Big Cass, breaking news, has an ACL tear. He will be going in for surgery this week. He'll be out 9 months at least. Alex is getting a story on that right now. We'll be up on Fightful.com momentarily. We'll also adjust our Fightful.com injury report accordingly. Anna, we will jump right into your thoughts on anything not beach ball related. What? Obviously, like people, there were some that suggested that this was maybe a work. It wasn't a work. You could see based on how the knee went last night. What were your initial thoughts when you saw Big Cass?
You could tell straight away that this was legit. He was swearing his head off, and there is no way that a wrestler in WWE would be swearing like that if it was a work. I mean, he could instantly tell that something, like he was screwed and it was going to be a long recovery, and that's what it's turned out to be. It sucks. It really sucks. Despite the shark cage thing and whatever the hell they're doing with Enzo, like, I mean, this shouldn't happen to you. Wouldn't wish this on anyone. Yeah, it really sucks. But hopefully, this time away will be good. And when he comes back, they can do something new with him and restart, I guess.
Jeff, your thoughts?
Oh, having torn my ACL, I knew almost immediately what had happened. Yeah, you can tell because it's buckling on you a little bit, and you're not quite sure, and then you try and do something full strength, and then you just can't walk. I figured it was ACL right from the beginning, and it's a knee. Like I said when Seth did his, knees are funny things, man. I hope he can take his time and come back, but you get the feeling on this kind of thing when you're getting that kind of push, he may try and rush it, and that would be a bad thing.
SmackDown Live. It happened tonight. We had returns, debuts, title matches, special guest referees. The opening segment was AJ Styles bringing back the United States Open Challenge, not United States Championship Open Challenge. Kevin Owens answered it, and I never thought I would be disappointed to hear that music, Jeff, but I was.
You know what? I did like it, though, because I think everybody assumed because of the Roode leak that it was going to be Bobby Roode answering it. So I liked the bait and switch here. You know, I wasn't as disappointed as you because I was hoping this would be. And look, I think Alex. I love Alex. He needs to calm down from time to time about things he gets angry about. I thought this was going to be the straight match that he had always wanted, and so he could finally be happy, and his daughter could have a father for the rest of his life. I worry about him just working himself into a coronary about not getting that match between AJ and Kevin. I was thinking that this was going to be it, honestly.
Anna, were you surprised to hear Kevin Owens' music at this point?
I kind of guessed it would have been him, and then I was like, oh, this could be glorious. And then, of course, it was KO. Given knowing what we know now and seeing what we saw, I'm happy with what happened. It was a necessary step to continue their stories in separate directions. I'm good with it. I mean, we got another KO AJ match. It was different again. KO is just like the X from hell. He's perfect in this role. And then we got an AJ hair flip to signify that the fight's on, and I was happy.
Kevin Owens says that McMahon screwed another legendary Canadian. I love that line. I thought that was a classic line. Shane comes out. He makes the match for tonight, but Owens demands that he is able to pick the ref. I liked that touch. I thought that was good. Backstage, Kevin Owens approaches Sami Zayn, which I really liked. And Sami Zayn finds a way to plug the DVD. Says, sometimes I forget what we're fighting for. And Owens is like, yeah. And you see this like sense of optimism on their faces. And then Owens says, well, you should do it because I know you're not busy tonight because you never do anything on this show. And for Owens, you can see it wasn't a low blow. That's just him. That's how he normally is. Later on, Zayn turns him down. Breezango offers their services, and Owens goes off before being like, wait, hold on. Anna, what the hell were Breezango wearing?
They apparently Tyler Breeze posted this on his Instagram afterwards. They are custom-made play suits. There were two, like, as soon as they stated the stipulation that KO could pick the ref, Sami Zayn came into my mind immediately. And all these possibilities came up of what could be next. And I know that KO and Shane is next, so yeah. But the continuation on this fight forever thing with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, like, that just opens my heart. And then they didn't. And then they teased the Breezango thing. And then once again, I thought, wow, my birthday's come a day early. This is awesome. And then they didn't. But I can't complain because we saw Breezango, and I thought we wouldn't see them until next week. So you got to take what you can get at this point.
Yeah, your birthday. Well, here, your birthday is in like 26 hours. How long is it from where you're at?
12 hours, just under.
12 hours?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jeff, when's your birthday?
April 29th.
Doesn't really matter.
Beachballs is next week, though, if you'd like to get it.
Mine's next week.
Fuck the beach ball.
Do I share a birthday with the beach ball?
You might be twins.
Yeah, I don't know. You all look pretty similar.
I don't know. Let's see. Hi, Anna. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I'm swearing too much.
Baron Corbin shows up. He wants the shot at being a special guest ref, but also wants a title shot if Owens wins. Later on, we see Corbin talking to AJ Styles, who says, you can get a title shot if I win, too. We get an open challenge every single week. Jeff, did this sway you any certain way? Did you think that because AJ Styles said that, it maybe put a new ripple into things?
No. And in fact, I had thought once they made Corbin the ref, I thought it was going to be a 2-on-1 beatdown. And it wasn't even going to be a match, to be honest with you. So I was more than surprised when it actually turned out to be something.
And Corbin was a pretty solid ref, which we'll get to when that occurs. Daniel Bryan backstage, not happy with Jinder Mahal. He makes the Singh brothers face Nakamura. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's go into one of the debuts. We'll talk about the bigger one last, but Chad Gable's talking to Daniel Bryan backstage, and I love the continuity here. Bryan reveals to Chad Gable that in exchange for sending Jason Jordan to Raw, Kurt Angle helped him sign one of his friends, who was Shelton Benjamin, who dwarfed both of them, by the way. Mm-hmm. Jesus, Shelton Benjamin looked like 6'5" here. Jeff, Shelton Benjamin back. He's up there in years, but I get the feeling he's going to be just fine.
If I could get these two throwing guys, I'll be very, very happy. What I hope doesn't happen is it turns out Shelton Benjamin is Jason Jordan's dad or something like that, or Chad Gable's dad. That'd be even worse. No, I'm not getting my dream American Alpha versus Shelton and Dolph match, but I will take a tag team of Shelton and Chad. Although I'm thinking it's going to be a program between Shelton and Chad because it looked like Shelton wasn't happy about getting a tag team partner.
Angry old man Shelton works for me.
I'll take that.
I'll take that. Anna, Shelton Benjamin back in the fold. What do you think?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm happy to see what they do with them, if it's going to be a legit tag team or if it will be a feud. But just with the showings that Gable has had the past few weeks, I just want to see him on that role more. And I don't know if they'll ever make him anything higher than US champion, but that kid has it. And I'm just really glad that his dad was looking out for him and brought Benjamin in.
Indeed. Well, we're hitting the backstage segments. Dolph Ziggler's back after, I think, 7 weeks. He wrestled early July. He cuts a promo like trashing all the gimmicks on SmackDown, including Bobby Roode, including Naomi. Those two got hit really hard. And Ziggler says he'll be back next week with all those gimmicks. Now, my hope is that he's being completely literal, and he comes out in a giant robe with his hair glowing, and he's really making a go of it. Like he thinks that's really what it takes to succeed. What do you think of this new, well, I don't want to say new Dolph Ziggler. He always bitches about something in his promos, so. But Anna, yeah, sorry.
Well, when he first came back, I was just thinking, well, I kind of wish he did re-debut as Colonel Sanders because that would be something different. And then he starts ripping on all these other people. And then all I could think was, well, why don't you just try and come up with an original gimmick then? Like, you've tried this Shawn Michaels thing for how long and it's not working. And then now, like, I get, it's a work and everything, but just kind of pissed me off. It's like, well, just stop complaining and try to come up with something then.
Jeff,
I'm getting worked right now.
I am the opposite of you on this, Sean. I don't want to see it. Only because
I was being sarcastic.
Okay, because I thought you might think it was funny. And look, I know that there are people who would love
might
to
be.
Well, no, it might be, and people would love to see the overkill of it. I think there's a certain section of the audience that would go, man, you remember when Dolph Ziggler did all that stuff? To me, I hate meta gimmicks. I hate gimmicks that are commenting on people's career. I don't want to see it. I think it's usually the beginning of the end, much like all I'm thinking is Charlie Haas imitating people, because that's usually the kiss of death, is when you're imitating other wrestlers. I think the only person that ever survived that was one of the Rhodes brothers. I can't remember which one was doing it.
Stevie Richards did.
Okay, but
I think he had his best stuff after that. I think he did like RTC after that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that may have been it.
Yeah, but I don't want to see it because it's another complaining Dolph Ziggler character. And there's no change to it. It's always, I'm going to steal the show. I'm tired of not getting pushed. I'm tired of not getting opportunities. And that's not an interesting character to me. I think Dolph's very talented. I think there needs to be an entire personality shift for him.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many of this quote-unquote no gimmicks needed guys on SmackDown, and some of them need gimmicks. That's why you got so many guys that are just sitting around waiting to be used, and they're not. It's very frustrating because, I mean, on the Pine, any given week, you have Dolph Ziggler, Ty Dillinger, Sami Zayn, Chad Gable. That's any given week. This week, Rusev. That's a lot of talent to just be sitting there and not doing anything. No New Day on the show this week either, which that's fine. But what wasn't fine was Lana trying to motivate Tamina backstage. Wow. Jeff, what was this?
It was...
It was a montage without a montage is what it was.
It was a bad community theater skit. And the irony is, we just talked about Rusev sitting on the Pine. He's sitting on the Pine because of the woman who's front and center in this vignette. You hate to say that, but it's true. It's damn true. Oh God, I can't. I just can't. There's no words for me to say. It's bad. It was just bad. I'll leave it at that.
Anna, anything to add to this horrible segment?
It was just weird. It just reminded me, I can't put my finger on it, but I think it's just like generic 90s movie of the girls in high school that are picked on and they turn to witchcraft and start messing shit up in school. Like it kind of touched on some really dark territory that I won't go into, but they completely didn't realize what they were doing. So it's a weird place to be in.
It's not a bad idea. It's just the scripting of it makes it so stilted, and then the stiltedness makes it creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Aiden English is out in the ring. Aiden English, who has a fan in Daniel Bryan, according to a recent interview he did with the Edge and Christian show. Anna, does Aiden English strike you as the kind of guy that Daniel Bryan is sitting backstage like, yeah.
He weirdly does.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that's right up his lane.
I will point out, like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it really does.
I love him.
I kind of feel like Aiden English would be the perfect backing track to Sweet Beats, and I kind of want to hear it.
A collaboration, like it's
Upper
like when R. Kelly and Jay-Z did the album together. That's how big that would be.
Aiden English would be the hook for the song.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
They need what was the WWE Originals where Kurt Angle did that song? I don't suck. I don't suck. That was good stuff.
I need this.
So where I used to live, we owned like a tanning salon area, and somebody left that CD there. They came and brought it and listened to it while they were tanning, and I was like, I don't listen to this.
That weirdly fits though that they would bring it to tanning. Given like I was looking at Aiden English tonight, and I was like, you can see his sunglasses, like the tan line, and then it's just like. The wrestlers at the moment, a lot of them are like a Crayola pack with their different different settings. It's quite amazing to watch.
Well, it's really just it's like the difference between cantaloupe orange and super orange and every shade in between. That's what we have here. He is greeted by Bobby Roode, babyface, great reaction. I gotta say, Jeff, I don't know about you. I'm all for this. I am all for Bobby Roode as a babyface, and this is coming from a guy who Saturday night I was like, man, I can't remember the last time I was interested in Bobby Roode. I'm interested in Bobby Roode, Jeff.
It's weird because I didn't realize he was a babyface probably until I don't know. It was weird to me because that promo he cut wasn't exactly sincere. It was about how much money he can make. So that was a very heelish promo. I just thought it was interesting that they were booking two heels against one another. But you know what? I am all for Bobby Roode being a babyface. I am. I think he'd be a great addition to this roster as a babyface, especially given that he played heel to most of these guys when he fought them the first time in either NXT or TNA. So I think it'd be a nice change of pace.
Do you think it lasts that way? Because Randy Orton not on the show this week.
No, because I think number one, they'll eventually want to put Orton and him in a program with one another. Number two, I think Roode just naturally exudes with this gimmick, natural heelishness. I mean, when you're coming out with the robe and the song and being cocky, it's hard to be a cocky babyface. It really is. So I think they're eventually going to turn him full on if he's not already a heel. I think we may be misinterpreting things, and Aiden English was just a guy around that they could beat because nobody else was around.
I thought that the way that Roode worked prior to this was kind of a crowd killer. I didn't think this was. I thought this was good.
Yeah.
Made a comeback, got the glorious DDT. And how long do you see the Bobby Roode babyface lasting?
Well, it depends who they try and put him with, really. I like that they did this, and it kind of went hand in hand. He looked so happy to be there tonight, and during the match and after the match, like, I'm just over the moon for this guy. So this, I don't really care what they do with him at this point. I just hope that it works. Ryan Dilbert brought up on Twitter, though, the idea that he would run into Breezango backstage, and then Denny Burkholder suggested that Breezango take over the Glorious Bomb. I would like to advocate for this, and more than advocate, I would like to start a petition online and a GoFundMe page. This needs to happen.
To piggyback on what Anna said, there was a moment during the entrance, right when he was about to do that first strut, and also when he's about to go up the stairs, you could see this kind of exhale, like, whoa, I can't believe I'm in an actual full arena full of people on an actual main show of WWE. There was that moment he took to really go, okay, this is real, and then had to center himself. It's kind of cool to watch. If you, I rewound it at least twice just to make sure that that's what I thought what was happening, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
So Bobby Roode, he's here. He's at SmackDown. Like, they didn't even try to hide it. They did not try to hide it at all. There were photos of his name up on a Tron. There were photos of him arriving today. Jeff, where do you think he gets inserted? Mid-card, upper mid-card, main event level?
Upper mid-card. And then if he flies, he goes into the main thing. You know what? If he's a babyface, if he's a true babyface, I could see a Jinder program sooner than later, just to see if this guy is if they're going to keep the belt on Jinder, I could see them doing a Roode program sooner than later, just to see what Roode can do in that spot. What I hope doesn't happen is they turn him heel and put him in a program with Shinsuke again, because I don't need to see that match ever again. I love those two. I don't love those two together.
Hey, now that John Jones failed a drug test, maybe UFC can take a tip from WWE and book that Indian fellow that Jinder's going to be there with against Brock Lesnar, because India. That's the reason we're doing all this, right?
By the way, WWE related, who's more happier than Vince McMahon now that he has to go to the negotiating table with Brock, and Brock doesn't have that out?
You see my tweet that already went and busted up the internet?
Did you?
Oh God, yeah. Okay. Got like 800 retweets, my friend.
I don't know. I'm not no selling. I'm not no selling it to insult you. I just probably just missed it in my wave of tweets.
Okay, 700 retweets. My bad.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, Sean.
I guess so. Usos defeat the Hype Bros. The Hype Bros are alive. We can confirm they're there. This was standard tag match until Mojo Rawley just absolutely runs through one of the Usos. Man, some pants shitting went down during that move. Zach gets beaten pretty quickly. Usos cut a really good promo on the tag division, though. This was a showcase for the Usos, both in the ring and on the mic. Anna, who do you see them getting next?
They could possibly be Gable and Shelton.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. It's good to know that if I'm ever being followed, it's just the Usos, so I don't have to worry. Yeah, it was a good match, and that point where Mojo came and decked him, there was just that, and then Ryder slipped through the bottom ropes and kicked the other one over. And that was just the last minute of the match, but that pushed it to, okay, this is pretty great. I just kind of wish that they bring that sooner, especially given the name being Hype Bros. And I don't know if this was just a byproduct of not being on TV for a while, but the first call out that Mojo did of he ain't hyped, it was kind of a really less than hyped response from the audience. And I do wonder if we're going to get a more refined Mojo back anytime soon, because I was really liking what they were doing there.
Sean,
Yeah.
did you ever play football? Organized
Little
football of any kind? Did you ever do bull in the ring?
No, what's that?
It's when the team gets in a circle and you put one guy in the center and coach calls a number and that number comes running full bore at the guy in the center and you're supposed to be on your tiptoes enough to turn around and be able to brace yourself for the hit. That was the kind of hit Mojo put on that Uso.
Yeah.
That was a decleater right there. The one thing that I noticed about the match was they obviously forgot that Zack Ryder's kind of over in New York City, especially in Brooklyn, because he's kind of a hometown boy. Because he got a nice reaction during that match.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I always root for the guy. I always feel bad for him. The one thing about the Usos promo that I thought it felt like they were setting someone to come out during that promo, and then when they didn't, it felt kind of, that's how they ended it, huh? Okay, because I thought for sure we might be getting we'd get at least a team, and I thought it might be the Authors of Pain, but we didn't get a team at all, and usually that's the kind of promo where they're setting. I mean, when you're calling out the locker room, that's the kind of promo that sets up somebody coming out that tells you who the next program's going to be. So I get the feeling they're just going to go back to the New Day again.
Who weren't on the show this week. As I mentioned, no Rusev, no Orton, none of them. Also, somebody we haven't seen in a while, Mike Kanellis. Jeff, what do you think's up with that guy?
I think they realize that the gimmick's death. Actually,
maybe everything involved with it and the people.
Well,
too.
that and I just think that there's some people that didn't come into town because they weren't going to be on any of the shows this week, and I think him and Ty Dillinger, or maybe they were working main event. I haven't seen who was on the main event tapings, but you know what? I figured they're trying to figure out something to do with him because that first program. I mean, there's only so many times you can put him in a match against Sami Zayn or Ty Dillinger.
He hasn't wrestled on TV in a month now, so there's that. Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Singh Brothers. He beats their asses. And if you would have told me I was going to be a fan of the Bollywood Boys a year ago, I would have said no. No. Anna, I thoroughly enjoy these two guys. But what I don't enjoy is them getting the J&J treatment. Let the guys wear their gear.
Yeah, it was odd to see them wrestle in that, given, I mean, they completely changed up their gimmick with Mahal, but we haven't really seen that. I kind of wish that they were there to watch Nakamura's entrance because I just would have liked to see them shooting themselves for that entire 2-3 minutes. But I realized during this match, I don't know if you get this in America, there's an English TV show called The Raggy Dolls from like early 90s, late 80s, where it's a bunch of rag dolls that were like rejected that come to life at night. They are the Raggy Dolls. Did you see them get tossed out of the ring and just like flop right over and get straight back up? Like, you don't have nerve endings or you don't have bones or something's going on that's off because you keep being killed and regenerating within seconds. They're not human.
My real question is, how did the Raggy Dolls run for 8.5 years? I just found that out in my research.
I just remember it being a pretty creepy show.
It sounds
like a beach ball that comes to life. Hi, Anna.
Speaking of, during the tag match, I was told there were 3 beach balls bouncing around. How do you fix this problem? If I'm WWE and I really want it to be fixed, I have Michael Cole come out and be like, hashtag WWE beach ball. Everybody's doing it. Then it's done.
Yeah, I mean, apparently one guy got kicked out by security as a result, which that should be happening. I wrote a note about this though, and I just said, if you bring a beach ball to a wrestling live event, take a shit and then look into the toilet, and that's you. And then if you partake in the throwing of the beach balls, you essentially have shit on your hands. So just think about your actions. Yeah, Jeff, that's it.
I would do a Undertaker style when he shut down the what chant by saying, "Say what if you sleep with your sister," but that's. I mean, that was the best teardown of a crowd I've ever seen, but of course they're not going to do that. Yeah, I think, you know what? I actually think that's why they mentioned it on WWE TV, was to try and keep people from doing it because the company thought it was cool. Either that, or they think Vince McMahon has this weird First Amendment thing where he thinks he's the greatest warrior for freedom of speech there is, because once they embrace signs, and every single person in that damn stadium, even if they were in the nosebleeds, were coming in with poster boards and, oh, that's the WWE Universe celebrating the First Amendment. So he probably thinks that this is some sort of speech, and that it's up to the talent to keep the people's attention. And in some ways it is. I'm not going to totally blame the crowd, but on the other hand, you can't blame the talent either if they're just going off on their own. I mean,
well, John Cena particularly last night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was
that guy.
Yeah,
all night long.
Mm-hmm.
As for the Singh brothers, Samir Singh is possibly my MVP for this SmackDown brand of late, because that dude. If you know how quarterbacks will buy their offensive linemen watches or cars or something as gifts for protecting them, Jinder Mahal better be buying this kid something, expensive and gilded in some way, because that dude has been almost killed for Jinder Mahal's title reign, which isn't getting over, but that's okay. They're great. I love the Bollywood
Phoenix
boys.
just gave me a great idea. Shooter McGavin should be in the crowd policing the beach balls. That's who they need. Shout outs to C Phoenix. Jinder tries to attack, eats a knee to the grill. Anna, how do they keep this going for 6 or 7 weeks until Hell in a Cell?
I have no idea, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'm hoping this means that they're going to introduce some other people and then line them up potentially for after this finishes eventually, hopefully. But this is going to be a long build.
It's because you're xenophobic.
Yeah, that's
what your shirt stands for, xenophobic men. I knew it. I don't know how much longer I can deal with that. Like, just every single week, Jinder Mahal comes out and says the same shit over and over and over again. Jeff, or is it? I don't know. How do I approach even asking you this? Am I overreacting?
No. But you know what? 1 week we're going to get a verbal debate. It's going to be great. Contract signing. Let's see, what else can we do out of the old trope list? We just did the 2-on-1 match. Beat the clock at some point to see who gets to be the number 1 contender for Jinder, and Shinsuke goes through it. There are ways to do it, and there are ways you could do it where you build upon their ethnicity. That would be smart. It's just WWE ain't the company to do it.
Yep. Becky Lynch and Naomi defeated Carmilla and Natalya. Carmilla's ring gear was the best news story of the day. Huh. Jeff, you seemed indifferent.
It's not indifferent. I'm not sure, because I really like her other ring gear. I like the whole Jersey Shore trash kind of outfits that she wears, as opposed to the Baywatch lifeguard with sneakers in an 80s aerobics class thing she has going there. I don't know. I mean, it's a nice homage to Glow, I guess. I just don't know if I like it all that much.
I don't think Glow wore like ringers and shit on theirs.
Well,
Come on now.
No chokers.
One pieces are back in, Jeff. I know you're not hip to what's going on out here in the world, but one pieces are back in.
I should buy one then.
You should.
Please do.
You should. You can wear it and
No,
take your beach ball on a goddamn day.
Don't you help him. Don't you help him, Anna. You stay out of this.
I'm starting a petition and a GoFundMe for this as well. Thank you.
and it has 40 GoFundMe's for various causes.
That's Anna's newest Patreon goal. Whenever it hits a certain spot,
I need a Patreon for my GoFundMe's for various.
Most ridiculous is 5 minutes of Jeff with a beach ball and a one piece. That's it.
That's gonna be my next.
All
goal.
my enemies would pay for that too. That's the sad part. Oh yeah, let's do that. You tell any of my comedy friends that, they're buying it. Oh no.
This match isn't bad. Carmilla teases not wanting to tag in, tries to get Natalya beat up so she can cash in, which was kind of funny. Naomi had a really nice transition from a sunset flip in her submission. She ends up pinning Carmilla with a split-legged moonsault. I'm kind of a fan of the heel-on-heel action here because I don't necessarily like the babyface versus heel all the time thing. Anna, what did you think of Carmilla, her gear, her interaction with Natalya, and the tag match?
I think Carmilla is fantastic. She was out there like on the ring. What did she say? Oh yeah, you're the best there is, baby. Go hang, take care. She just like wouldn't tap in whatsoever. And then, but it also brought out something from Natty of this like army commander Natalya that actually gave her personality and purpose and something to do in the ring. And I think both of them together doing that actually really works. I don't know how they're going to continue that when it's one-on-one. But it's also an interesting situation. It's like, well, if Natty were to tap her in, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you're getting beaten up. You need someone to relieve it. But then your relief is Carmilla. So you're dead.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't know what's going to happen with this SmackDown Women's Division. They need a little bit of help. I think Charlotte not being there is a glaring hole in my opinion. That is just.
I disagree somewhat, and I'll tell you why. Because they're not focusing on any of the women that can actually wrestle in this division for the most part. I mean, I think Carmella is an excellent troll character. I think she is fantastic in what she does. But as I was kind of I love hectoring Anna on the split screens because this week we got some pretty good offense by Becky Lynch during this match that international viewers did not get to see. And to me, Becky Lynch is the great, possibly the most underutilized talent on this roster next to Chad Gable. She is so great, and it's one of those things where after watching, the takeovers, you go, man, there's someone who, I love them being on the main roster, but they never get used right. And if she had been down there, she'd be Asuka right now. I mean, she's so great. I think Charlotte would have been Becky's tag partner possibly, or Naomi's tag partner, and just would have been an afterthought in this match. I don't think she was missed all that much on this show. Your top two women's stories right now are this Carmella Natty thing and then Lana and Tamina.
Ugh.
They're not doing anything with the Naomi, Becky, Charlotte trio other than putting them in these stories as supporting characters. So I don't think this hurts Charlotte all this much, and I don't think it was very much lacking because she wouldn't have been doing all that much, in my opinion.
Well, it doesn't hurt Charlotte because everybody knows why she's gone, and that's understandable. Yeah. But I think that it's missing something without her there because she is really
missing
the only,
a lot. But
she's the main piece, I think, in that division. Like as far as protection and as far as star quality goes, Becky maybe could be there, but it hasn't all connected for her yet.
They put her in a freaking KFC commercial. Like that says it all pretty much.
Shawn Michaels is in that commercial though.
Let's not get back into this. I can't deal with this right now.
I think Charlotte's ascent comes after Carmella cashes in, and then they juxtapose the girl of the opportunist versus the actually talented. I think that's the way they're going here, and that's why Charlotte's kind of been on the back burner.
I'm told that the Tozawa Neville match is the best match they've had, and I heard that the crowd was really hot for it.
Oh, I bet.
So can't wait to watch that. Main event time. Special guest referee Baron Corbin, United States Championship, AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. My only real note was I liked AJ Styles' sliding forearm. It is nice how he just throws his body in the opposite direction that his forearm is going and connects. He makes that look really good. Also, Baron Corbin is a pretty good ref, Jeff. Surprisingly solid.
Solid, and also on the acting aspect, he did something that had me howling when AJ and Kevin Owens hit each other with the clotheslines. He did that stupid thing refs do where they hold their head like, oh my God. I had never seen anything like that before.
Patrick.
I just went, or Charles Robinson does that a lot too. I howled at that. I go, my God, he's actually watched other referees acting and is doing their moves. I mean, all he needed to do was a Tommy Young jump over a guy and count 1, 2, 3, and it would have been perfect. But yeah, I don't think Shane had a case for him being a bad ref. Get out of there.
Anna? I think Sean's talking, but we can't hear him.
Oh, good.
Okay. Does he know that we can't hear him?
Sean, do you know that we can't hear you?
No? Okay.
Yes.
There we go. There we go. That was fun.
I said the only thing he did to annoy me was he pointed at the logo on his shirt all the time. And I think I need one of those. That way I can be like, I'm the managing editor. I am the managing editor. And I keep pointing at the F on my shirt.
No, you need to wear the tank top with your face on it and just keep pointing.
I only wear that to work out in, man. That's about it.
You wear that to work out in the gym? You wear a shirt with your own face?
I have a gym at my house, fool.
Okay, I was going to say.
I don't go out in public. I mean, I don't like go to the MMA gym in Maysville.
That would be awesome.
That's funeral attire, man. You can wear that to weddings, funerals, anything.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Corbin in this spot. He looked like a different Corbin than we've seen the last few weeks because he was actually having fun. And like that was very obvious with the ref acting. And there was a confrontation point between him and AJ after it was a 2 count. And then it wasn't the usual get up in your face, get up in the ref's face, like, what the hell, man? It was so subdued and passive aggressive, which ended off with like a theater right in front of your face. It's going to be a kiss or a kill moment. And then AJ just walks away. And like, it was so underplayed. It was beautiful. And then from that point on, and then Shane, I loved Shano running out because this is the kind of commissioner that I want to see. He's actually doing his job. And there's logic to this-ish. And it was just so much more than what we've been getting from these type of angles recently. I really, really liked all of this. And KO's expression when he realizes he's halfway up the ramp and he turns back at the end and realizes that this is it, that he's lost it and that's it for his chances. And the look of devastation on his face was like, that could be blown up and hung as a portrait on my wall. It was so beautiful. This guy has the full package. I'm like kind of in awe of how good he is because every single time I see him doing these kind of angles, it's like I've forgotten or he just seems to push the bar up that much higher every single time.
Jeff, what are the programs you see out of SmackDown heading into this pay-per-view? It's obvious. Jinder Nakamura, AJ, maybe Corbin, Owens, Shane, then what?
Probably I like Anna's Usos, Gable, and Shelton idea. I really like that a lot. Although, then what do you do with the New Day? That's the problem.
AOP.
I don't think they're bringing up the AOP. I think they're going to be doing a 3-way down there. Although they may have them do double duty. I don't know. If you're going to debut the AOP, they would have done it on this show because this is a bigger show. Probably Bobby Roode, and you know what? That might be, that may be where your Mike Kanellis ends up, kid. Fighting Bobby Roode. Well, actually, no, they'll probably waste him before that. So where would Bobby Roode go? Who's a nice This is a nice mid-level heel. You know what? They could do Owens and Roode. Ziggler. Roode and Ziggler wouldn't be bad. I'll admit that.
Ziggler would make him look real nice.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. They're probably gonna do some other kind of match with Natty. Probably Natty and Naomi again. I think. I think they're just gonna run that back. Probably have a tag match with Lana and Tamina against Generation T. Just to do it. Yeah. It's going to be mostly rerunning the same stuff other than the couple of minor changes.
Jeff, I've been on a crusade for WWE to kill the automatic rematch clause. Am I wrong?
No.
I think it handcuffs them.
Not at all. Especially if it's a dominant win. I don't, I like that idea of you know what, if you've deserved this title, I mean, even if you wanted to switch it up to the point of you get the automatic rematch, but you don't get the automatic rematch immediately. You get it down the line after someone else has won the title. I have no problem with that either. I just think you know what? It's lazy is what it is. It's we don't want to think of a new program. We'll just run this back for a while to waste some time.
Alex Palowski, associate editor of Fightful.com, just sent me some breaking news. Enzo Amore debuted on 205 Live. Anna, thoughts?
Wow,
After
they did it.
Won his match.
Oh, good. I mean, this is kind of what I wanted if they weren't going to turn him heel after the shark cage match of my nightmares. This, I'd be very curious to see how he does on this and if it actually does anything for 205 or if it just crashes and burns. This is going to be very interesting.
Can I be the guy to say this probably means that Vince McMahon's angry at him?
Everybody's angry at him. Everybody's angry at him. I don't know if you heard the show last night, but he's been getting a lot of heat for being pretentious, for being rude to fans, for big timing people in clubs, outside. I've heard this story about him having security escort him out of a club because he was getting too much attention this weekend. Like there was a lot of weird. I've been hearing a lot of stories about him. And then I don't know if you all saw the person that popped up on my Twitter last night. This guy popped up and said, "There's never been a bad story about Enzo Amore. It's that Sasha Banks that mistreats fans." And it's some dude who has like 200 airport pictures on his Twitter. And I'm like, so you're the one. It's you.
Yeah.
You're the guy going to airports and sneaking in beach balls. You're the guy doing the what chant.
You know that that's the same person doing both, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can we finally forgive a talent for being cranky at the airport at 6 a.m, please? Just once. CM Punk, Sasha Banks.
Anybody. Yeah. Also worth noting, guys, Daniel Cormier, who John Jones beat at UFC 214 for the UFC light heavyweight title, has released a statement. He said, "It's hard to find words to describe how I'm feeling right now. I'm disappointed to hear the news. It's very emotional. We as athletes are entitled to due process, and I will refrain from saying much more until I know exactly what happened. In my mind, on July 29, I competed and I lost. I thought John Jones was the better man that day. I don't know what to think anymore. I can't believe we're going to go through all this again. We will see what happens next. Thank you to all my fans who have supported me during this dark time. I love you all very much. I feel bad for that dude."
Oh, yeah. I mean, he loses with honor, and they're probably going to end up with this stupid – I mean, you're saying it before. I'm betting they try this sealed supplement defense again.
Or you mean the tainted supplement?
Well, yeah, but they find a sealed sample, and oh, look, it has the same stuff.
Well, that substance, from what Ian Kidd on Twitter has said, and he's really the authority on stuff like this. He's really the best.
Yeah.
Is that they don't even produce this for human consumption or human use anymore, or even veterinary use anymore, just like shady labs create it. So There you go. He says it's pretty easy for WADA accredited labs to detect. There's going to be a lot to this story, guys, and of course we'll have it. And we have Mayweather versus McGregor live coverage this Saturday, post show as well. Myself, Showdown Joe, Carlos Toro coming at you tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Jimmy Van for the list, and your boy. Check that out, guys. One of our flagship shows, along with the Holy Smokes MMA podcast, which released today at 3 p.m. Eastern. Full preview of this weekend's fight. Before we go, Anna, tell the people about Most Ridiculous and where they can find you.
Most Ridiculous SummerSlam special is available online for free on YouTube, and you can find the link on my Twitter or on my YouTube channel, but I don't know what the name of that is, so just go to @AnnaBauert, Bauert on Twitter and find it. It's in-depth investigation and 100% true, so you should check it out.
Jeff Hawkins, what's up with you this week?
Well, right after I hang up this, I'm going to record Shake Them Ropes with Rob, and we have yet to talk NXT or SummerSlam. So we have about 20 hours of WWE to slog through, including all the breaking news. And we'll see if he's drunk this week. It'll be great.
You can follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. Follow us at Fightful Online. Of course, visit Fightful.com. The leader in crossover news, my friends. Until next time, we are out.